Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I have the new Pro version of the SmallRig Mini V-mount battery. It's an upgraded version of the original Mini V-mount batteries, and we're going to be comparing that against some of these other options out there as well. And we're going to go over all that and more in this video. So let's go ahead and get started. If you're anything like me, a full-time videographer, then you're probably always looking for the perfect power solution for all of your cameras, whether you're shooting on something like this where you have a V-mount mounted right on the back of your cinema camera, or if you have something like a Sony FX3 or an A7 IV, which is what I'm filming on right now, then these type of batteries offer more power options than ever before because they have USB-C power delivery and USB-A quick charge. Now what this means is that these batteries are capable of providing 9-volt 3 amps, which is what you need to not lose any internal camera battery power on your Sony Alpha cameras. So this right here is the new SmallRig VB99 PRO. It's an updated version of the original VB99 battery. This is actually the larger 155, but the design is exactly the same. The ports are the same on the original 99 battery, except this one is just a little bit larger capacity. I've been using the 155 for quite some time now, but it's nice to be adding on the V99 Pro. In the original VB kits, you got the manual, the sticker kit, which I always love stickers, and the V-mount battery with 1/4-20 threads and 3/8 threads on the back, a D-tap in and out. You have a BP in and out connector, a USB-C power delivery in and out port, a USB-A quick charging port, and both 8-volt and 12-volt DC ports. In the new Pro version, instead of raising the price, they actually made this the same price as the original version and then dropped the price of the original VB batteries. The Pro version comes with a 240 watt capable USB-C to USB-C braided cable. On the new Mini V-mount body, the whole front of the battery is now this scratch resistant material. You also have the color display. You have the same D-tap in and out port, same 3/8 and 1/4-20 threaded holes on the V-mount on the back, BP in and out ports, and the door opens forward instead of to the side. Plus you have an additional USB-C port. Keep in mind that my VB155 is heavily used and SmallRig just sent over this new Pro version, so obviously there's no scratches on it yet. But you can see how the material is different on the left. It is this rubbery, grippy material, and they introduced aluminum alloy into this two-tone body. The next difference is the display screen. The Pro version has a TFT color display, which is very clean looking. The original battery has the regular digital looking display. In addition to making the door open forward instead of to the side, they also flipped around the orientation of the text for the ports, but they did make it where it is a little bit harder to read on the new Pro version. Also, no more fumbling around with the door flap like this. Now you can just stick the rubber tab in the battery and it holds it in place. So naturally, the only thing to do now is load up every single port on the battery possible and see how much power output we can get from it. So for starters, we do have a 65 watt light right here, and the battery is a maximum of 100 watt output. So we're gonna see if we can get there. Once everything is running and plugged in here, we will raise the intensity of the light and see if we can get it to max out. To get the 9 volts your camera needs, you can't use a cheap USB-C cable. I recommend using the one that came with your camera or the high-speed one that came with this battery. As always, you have to have a Sony battery inside the camera to get this continuous power supply to work. I plugged in the Atomos monitor with a DC cable. I used the P-tap cable to connect the wireless transmitter, and then I just hooked up a wireless receiver as well through USB. That's only 40 out of 100 possible watts, but before we max it out, I gotta tell you a couple things about the original battery. On the original SmallRig VB batteries, the display still looks really clean, although on the new batteries, it tells you exactly how many minutes you have remaining on your battery. Also, with the original VB batteries, you are limited on the power output. You see how I connect the USB-C cable here, and I'm able to get the 9 volts needed for continuous power in the camera. But whenever you plug into the additional USB-A port, it splits that 9 volt down into 5 volts on both of the ports. All right, back to the Pro battery. Now we're gonna use a 65 watt cold bore light with the included USB-C cable that came with the battery and try to overload it. And here we have exceeded over 100 watts of power delivery, although I'm not worried because this battery has overload protection, over discharge protection, and short circuiting protection. So there you see it, we finally get the battery to max out in the output. So I do not recommend you try this at home with your battery or your camera, but just know that you can safely reach these outputs. And if you do, just, maybe unplug something or turn something off. Or instead of running that cold bore light out of the USB-C port, I could plug in a USB-C charger and have power coming into the battery simultaneously. Now, how do the SmallRig batteries compare to some of the other options out there? Honestly, none of these batteries come close to the power options and the overall power output and the charging speed of the SmallRig battery, especially this new Pro version, which is even faster than the original version, as we found out. But this battery is just really fast and just has a ton of ports and a ton of power options. Whereas on some of these other batteries, they are really high quality, like we found in my other comparison video. This Core Neo 9 battery is actually really good as far as the battery cells in it and how long they last, although it is limited by only having a D-tap and a 5 volt USB port. But we might have something coming from Core coming very soon, so keep an eye out for that video. The ZG Cine, this was really popular battery on my channel because it had the USB-C input, USB-C output, and quick charge output. So this was the first battery that I figured out that could deliver output to the FX3 without losing any internal battery. Although the battery cells in this have failed on me numerous times, and like I showed in the other video, this would die on me at like 40% on my aperture lights. The Cine at work now. This ZG Cine battery just died on me on a shoot at 47%. It went out. And then the Moment battery has the 2 D-taps and the 2 5 volt USB ports. I think they've updated that battery somewhere along the road. And then the Andy Cine battery does have the power delivery as well, but it is limited on some of the other ports. But keep in mind, Moment and ZG Cine have recently updated their batteries and ports, although these are just the batteries that I have in hand. Which means that the new SmallRig Pro version is actually the best battery that I currently have. So it's really convenient that you have this super clean display showing all the different voltages or wattage outputs for each port on the battery, so you know whether or not you're overloading it, which I've shown is very hard to do. But no other battery that I have is this advanced as far as showing the screen like this. So this is just really far ahead of its time. The main question is, how long can I power my camera with a battery like the VB99 PRO? With the Sony FX6, a wireless video transmitter, and a 7-inch monitor, I was able to get a little bit over 3 hours of runtime off of the VB99 PRO. Now with a small lightweight rig like this A7 IV or my Sony FX3 rig, where I'm only powering the camera through the battery here, well, it only uses about 5% battery per hour of use. So you could film all day with this, maybe even a couple days if you're doing like 10-hour days. As always, there will be links to everything down in the description below if you're interested in picking any of this up, and make sure to hit that subscribe button while you're down there. Shoot for the stars, and I'll see you very soon in the next video.